Good morning, y'all. I'm in a surprising good mood this morning for some reason. It's going to be another one of those dreary, yucky, nasty, cold, rainy days, but for some reason I'm in a good mood. Um, the I watched a interview with Miss Hillary Clinton. It appears Miss Hillary Clinton still feels we need to do away with the Electoral College. I guess that's because she's blaming the Electoral College why she couldn't manage to beat Donald Trump and smiling, living in his own world Joe Biden did. I'm sorry, I'm being snarky. Forgive me. Um, She's such a nasty woman. She really is. She's such a nasty person. The woman should have been tried for treason for allowing our military and our ambassador to be killed. You know what, Miss Clinton? Go play with your ill-gotten gains and leave the world alone. Um, Words cannot tell you how much I dislike her and her type. Um, they've gotten rich off of the backs of America while trying to destroy it. Cannot stand her. Although, politicians aren't high on my list of likes right now anyway. But anyway, she has decided she wants to get rid of the electoral. And believe it or not, there's a huge group that actually agrees with her. And my only statement is, then you don't know how our country was formed and why it was formed and why the Constitution was written like it was written. Can you imagine, what is it, almost 300 years ago now? A group of men sit down and wrote a constitution that is still relevant today. They did this on the heels of a great war. And in places in other countries where the country is a country. It's not several states put together to make a country. It is just a country. Okay, that is why one vote counts. But our country was not set up that it's called the United States of America. It's not called America. Yes, we're all Americans, but we're from different states, and the different states are as different as night and day. You can go to Texas and there's one way of life here. You can go to LA and there's a different type of life there. You can go to New York, there's a different type of life there. You can move to North Dakota, there's a different type of life there. These different states have the right to decide who is president. The Electoral College is the only fair way that Idaho gets just as much say in who the president is as New York. I think the election with Hillary Clinton proved that. She failed epically, thinking that if she just went to the big cities, that she would win. When Donald Trump went to all the little cities and the little states and the country people, and that's how he won. So when she says it's not fair, basically what she's saying is if you don't live in one of the big cities, your vote shouldn't matter. Bears to be repeated. Those people y'all think don't matter, those Trumpsters that were such evil bitches and devils from hell, those people are growing your food. Those people are giving you the ability to drive your car around. They work in the fields. They're not sitting in an office playing with numbers all day. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is those people up the middle part of the America that you say don't matter, that's the people feeding America. I'm not a Republican. I'm for sure not a Democrat. See those wings? Those red, white, and blue wings? I'm an American. And when you start messing with the Constitution, you start walking up the wrong side of me. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. There has been things in our past that are deplorable. But if the people at that time had let the Constitution talk, there would be no question to it. The question of slavery. The Constitution gives every person in the United States the right to be treated equally. The original Constitution said nothing about everybody except Chinese or Mexican or black people. It didn't separate that out, much to y'all's disbelief. It didn't separate all that out. People at that time separated all of that out. And it bears to be repeated. People, y'all are trying to erase our history. You know what happens when you erase history and you forgot what happened in history? You repeat it. And I think that's what we're fixing to do. We're fixing to repeat history again. Because just like in 1776, the American people are tired of being ruled by a tyrannical government, which is what we're being ruled by right now. Now, don't go left field with me, people. I'm only going to say one thing about this, and that's all I'm going to say. No one in the United States knows more firsthand how deadly this virus is. You see this thin hair? It's a result. The bags under my eyes from the exhaustion? It's a result. I'm sitting in a chair that once was occupied by somebody else. So no one knows firsthand how deadly this virus is. No one's taking your rights away telling you to wear a mask. And the masks do work. My shop is small. There was 3 of us working in here. My sweet Shonda was the only one who wore a mask. And she started wearing a mask when we came back to work. She wore a mask while we were making masks. Because we couldn't do anything else. She's never contracted the virus, even though we worked side by side. And the difference was we kept our hands washed. She did more than us. And she wore a mask and a shield while she was working. So I know it will work. But people, you gotta quit making this virus political. And let's do what we can do to get rid of it. My daughter has a saying. She says we're never going to have recess again. And the reason she says that, you remember in school, recess was what we lived for. But there was always that one kid that would act up. And the rest of us would have to wait 15 minutes for recess because of that one person. You people that feel your rights are being violated because of a mask? Really? Do you put a seatbelt on? On on that note, I don't like wearing a seatbelt. I don't think it's the government's right to tell me to wear a seatbelt. But you know what I do? The reason I wear a mask is because I care about the people around me. And I think if you care about the people around you, you will wear a mask. The mask prevents, it's not 100%. It's not 100%. Nothing, I don't think, is 100%. It's been proven by the number of doctors that have passed away with this virus. Nothing's 100%. You know what? It's just like when I go to take a hot pot out of my oven, I wear oven mitts to protect my hands. I can't tell you how many times I went to take a pot out and maybe there was a weak part in my pot holder or what, that the heat came through. And I think that's kind of like a mask. They're not 100%. They're really not. But when you add them to hand washing and social distancing, it will work. It will work. I don't know when this is going to end. I don't. I'm not. I'm just Deb. I don't have all the answers, and I don't think anybody does. But one thing I know, you see that? That is red, white, and blue. I bleed red, white, and blue. I believe in our country. And I believe it's time for the American people to say enough. I've had enough of people like Hillary Clinton and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell and that other goofball and yes, Miss Ocasio-Cortez nonsense. That's how I said your name, because I have complete disrespect and disdain for you. It's time for these people to be told, no, this is not the way America was founded. It's time for people like Miss Cynthia Johnson to be told, you will never have the right to get up and threaten someone because of how they voted. I'm really not comfortable with the direction our country's headed.